That could be used as a weapon in a necessity. With this cable car, we can get up onto the warehouse roof. This motor is from the cable car. There's a little petrol left, but not enough to start the motor. Empty. Judging by the smell, I would say that it's an oil reservoir. Look at this hole. This motor needs a starting handle.
Given the maintenance, this cable car isn't used very frequently.
True, Watson, but let us hope that it is still working. Cutting pliers. They could be useful. The lever is stuck. This padlock seems rather old. A crank. A bottle of motor oil. Vodka. There's a little at the bottom of these bottles.
Russian alcohol. Holmes, the three brothers.
This motor is from the cable car. Let us hope it works. Here's what we can use for fuel. The crank is in place.
It works.
We are going to separate. I will find a way into the fair, and you must investigate the warehouse.
Very well, I'll do that.
There is no one on the roof. If the machine should get out of control, then just use the brake. There ought to be one.
I should hope so. Anyway, there's no other choice. And when I've found out what is going on down there, what should I do then?
Come and join me in the fairground. You can follow my route to get over the fence. Then you should find me easily enough. Good luck, my dear fellow.
Come on, John. Courage. No one seems to have noticed me. Now I must try to find out what is going on here. It's a miracle that this reservoir is standing. The feet are being eaten away by rust. The bags contain rubble. They're tied up with good solid rope. I'll keep the rope. Carts from the soup kitchens. They appear to be queuing up. I must find out what is going on inside this warehouse, but have to be careful. The place is full of guards. An empty bottle. It's too dangerous to go any further. The window is too dirty to allow me to see inside. a large dry cloth. It's too dark inside this reservoir. It's impossible to see anything, but I can hear a slight lapping of water. So, it is inside these warehouses that Prince Woodville's canteens on wheels are filled up, and Hans is there to add his poison. That siren is a signal to open the doors and let out the carts of poisoned soup, destined for London. I wonder what Holmes is doing at this moment.
Here is a good place to try and get through. The way is clear. Good, I'm in. Now I must find Moriarty. A target from a firing range. A telephone line. Interesting. It comes from that large building. A telephone line. Interesting. It comes from that large building. A target from a firing range. It depicts a lion. The Stand's accounts book. Nothing interesting. The cover is dented. Curious. Let's look at the book's secret. Secret accounts. The Stand's owner must do something other than manage a simple coconut shy, and there is a strange poem about animals. The Stand's owner must live here. It's the Stand's till. There is no money, but there is a wooden target. Let's see. A firing range for children. They have to throw leather balls at the figures of wild animals to knock them over. It's clear that there is a link between the poem in the secret accounts and the animal-shaped targets on the stand. I need something. I am missing some information. It seems to me that there is something behind this poster, but it is stuck fast. Elementary. There is a hiding place here. Interesting. I can't see a keyhole to open this hiding place. There we are. It is simplicity itself. The Stan's slush fund. I wonder what happened to the owner that he should leave without his savings. If the guard sees me, he will sound the alarm. I must neutralize him, but discreetly. There are probably others, and a fight would attract their attention. It's open. This building was a menagerie. I'm in the service passage. Oh, what a smell. There must have been wild animals here once. I pity the animals that were shut up in here. The cages are very narrow. Apparently it's a medicine chest for first aid, I presume. Nothing of interest here. This cage has been blocked with planks, so that the interior is hidden from view. A large syringe for animals of a considerable size, evidently. Old bandages. Everything points to that cage having been used to treat sick animals. A key. Apparently it's a medicine chest for first aid, I presume. The only thing intact is this bottle of ether. If the guard sees me, he will sound the alarm. I must neutralize him, but discreetly. There are probably others, and a fight would attract their attention. There. That should interest our guard.
You there! Who are you? Alert!
Good. My little stratagem is in place. All I need to do is to wait for him to come back here. To shut him up, and quickly. Perfect. Thanks to the ether, this baller will sleep for a long time. Perfect. Thanks to the ether, this baller will sleep for a long time. Another guard. This place is full of them. I cannot risk a confrontation. He'll see me coming and I'll lose the element of surprise. I'll need to find a way to trap him. They must have exhibited those poor wretches in these cages and presented them as being dangerous. Be careful of those boxes. They are balanced, one on top of the other. It would take very little to knock them over. Bearded lady. People must have been locked up in here, and they are certain to have been mistreated. The cage is held shut with this bar. It only needs to be pulled away to open it. This cage is still occupied, not by one of the monsters, but by a poor man. He's still alive, but he's barely human now. Moriarty must have tested his poison on this poor fellow. If he was freed, he would leap at the throat of the first person he saw. I could easily open the cage by raising the door, but that poor man would leap on me immediately. I wonder what this machinery is used for. A rail system is fixed to the ceiling, and a hook is hanging from it. It must be used for moving heavy and bulky objects. The crank is in place. The hook is above the cage of this poor wretch. This large, empty aquarium held the fair's main attraction. The mermaid, Poseidon's daughter. I suppose it was on this small stage that the monsters were presented to the public. Ah, here's something interesting. Hans's diary. What a dreadful diary. That Hans is the only real monster ever to have frequented this attraction. Chemistry material. The bearded lady kept the key to this exhibition. Interesting. Here's what I've been looking for. These boxes are precariously balanced. There, the rope is in place. This way I can open the poor fellow's cage from the outside without taking any risks. The trap is in place. Now I only need to get the guard to go inside the freak show. The guard must be in the room. I need to get out of here. The guard is inside. I must close the door quickly. Closed. I must find a way of neutralizing the guard inside. Well, I'll be leaving you. I'm sure you have a great many things to do. But what have we got here?
Ah, there you are, Holmes. Did you have any problems?
None, apart from a few small things. What have you found out about this warehouse?
Prince Woodville's soup is loaded and contaminated by hands.
And in the direction of Whitechapel. Watson, in a few hours, Moriarty will have at his disposal a formidable army, more powerful and more terrible than anything that has ever existed.
What?
The soup is destined for a poverty-stricken, starving population who have been conditioned for months against the ruling powers. Moriarty won't have any trouble in sending thousands of raving mad people to ravage the city, sowing death and destruction. No force would be able to resist them, not the police, not even the army. A perfect army, knowing neither fear nor pity. A tidal wave of humanity which will cover London and will fall away again, leaving a city of desolation behind it.
What horror! And the chaos will only make Moriarty's coup d'etat even easier. But how will he guard himself against this bloodthirsty crowd?
The chaos will only last for the time he needs.
You mean to say
that these poor wretches will all die 48 hours after ingesting the soup, according to our good Dr. Shielman. So the victims will be joined by their executioners. An immense mass murder. What Moriarty would call clearing up after work, no doubt. Good. Have you found a way of stopping Hans's process?
Yes, I think so. If we can weaken the reservoir's feet with the explosives, for example, it will collapse and take the building down with it.
Good work.
What are you looking at?
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
Never. These caravans must be inhabited. Look, there is smoke coming out of one of them.
This stall is a washroom. I can see water basins inside. The door can be blocked from the outside. Interesting. Gallons of vodka. Apparently, they are more interested in games than in cleanliness. This ladder is only held back by a bolt.
Look, Holmes, the 3 Russian brothers.
With a coal stove and dynamite.
What should we do next, Holmes?
And then the dynamite would be very useful for blowing up the tank.
Good idea. But in order that we can get it, we'll have to get them out of there without their knowing we are here. The best thing to do is to carry on exploring this place, Holmes.
There is no one here, and nothing very interesting. This ladder is only held back by a bolt. Closed. A metal plate, very solid. An international anarchist's manifesto written in several languages. A wanted poster in Russian with the portraits of the 3 brothers on it. I pity the people who must have risked their lives in this attraction.
This place must have been magnificent.
Shh. Watson, look. On the stage. Prince Woodville.
And it is with an immense pride that I take possession of the attributes of the crown, and swear in front of you to serve my people with... Gentlemen, who are you? I don't believe I know you.
Not as yet, Your Royal Highness, but I am overjoyed that you are familiar with the crowning ceremony.
Of course. A good king should know it.
That makes my duty so very much easier. Let me introduce myself. My name is Howard Sawbury, and I am in charge of the aforementioned protocol and the master of ceremonial events at Buckingham Palace.
Yes, and I'm Sir John Cannard, in charge of the peacocks in the royal gardens.
Congratulations, Sir John. Excellent imagination.
I'm pleased to meet you, gentlemen, but what brings you here?
Do you mean to say that no one has informed you? Have you not been in the city? It is Queen Victoria, of course. She has been dethroned.
Really? So soon? According to my special advisor, Professor Moriarty, that should not take place until a few days from now.
The people have decided otherwise, sir, and now they're calling for their new sovereign, the benevolent, most understanding Prince Woodville.
Ah, gentlemen, you bring me great news. My good people have carried out their duty. I can finally take my rightful place, and happily before the bombs detonated.
Actually, sir, we're here to warn you that you are in grave danger.
What do you mean?
Among your close advisors, I regret there are traitors who are already plotting against you. We have reliable information that these terrorists are part of an international anarchist network, and...
Ah, gentlemen, I know who you are talking about. I'm sure you mean the strange gentleman employed by Professor Moriarty. Asians or,
Russians, sir.
Whatever. These men must be stopped before their bombs explode.
Their bombs?
Yes, Sir John. Bombs placed all over London. I was not at all fond of the idea, but Professor Moriarty was quite adamant.
Do you know where these bombs are precisely?
Of course not. But I do know that those anarchists created their exploding devices here.
You must tell us everything that you know about the bombs, sir.
Why should I? You're not a pyrotechnist, are you? I must speak urgently with Professor Moriarty.
They are dangerous anarchists who have committed murderous acts in their own country against the Tsar's line.
That is impossible. The professor assured me of their loyalty.
Moriarty does not require you anymore, sir. He does not wish to give you the throne. He desires it for himself.
The devil.
Sir, we are going to help you. You must tell us where the bombs are planted. The people will never forget a sovereign who began his reign by saving his subjects from such atrocities.
I confess that I do not know where they are. But surely the Russian anarchists must know.
What do the bombs look like?
They appear very complicated. It is impossible to defuse them. I remember that they were put together here, in a wooden stall between two tents, next to the Russian caravans. They were the only ones who had a key, besides that traitor Moriarty, of course.
We're going to try to open that stall.
Wait, I demand an explanation. If everyone is plotting against me, then how do I know that you are not also party to the plot?
But we...
Bring me Professor Moriarty, Mr. Sawbury, without delay. Sir John will remain here with me.
I should be able to remove the prince without endangering Watson's life.
There you are, Sir John. But to be a king means also to be prudent. And that is why I prefer to have you here as reserve. You are my guarantee.
I understand, sir, but in return you must understand that this places me in a somewhat disagreeable situation.
Yes, I understand. But the reasons of the state
are unfathomable, I know.
These
I came
tangled
here to
ropes
render you
are
a
holding
service.
back the curtains.
Let us be serious.
He's not moving. He appears to have passed out.
But he could come around at any moment and sound the alarm.
Yes, before leaving the theatre, we must make certain that that does not happen.
Not so long ago, those words coming from you would have frozen my blood.
Rest assured, my friend, that Sherlock Holmes no longer exists. Get rid of him now. There is a label underneath this lever. Magician's Trap Door, middle of the stage. Exactly where the prince is standing. Hey, presto, it's magic. No more paranoid prince.
Well done, Holmes. Look, Holmes, Prince Woodville lost his ring during the fight.
There is an enormous diamond in the middle of this ring. I will give it to the police later.
What were these dummies at the front of the stage used for?
The prince put them there to represent his public. This magician has a leather belt, very solid. There is a small bag attached to it.